Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today we're unboxing Pro-Ject's brand new X2B, their fully balanced turntable. This is a rework of a classic, an absolute, it's one I've admired for ages. The X2 obviously. In fact, check out the video here. The X2 is a stunning example of some of the engineering behind some of the best advancements in turntables. Brilliant bearing, brilliant central pulley wheel, independently suspended motor, everything you will see, okay? But what it's touching on is a new advancement in both connection, cabling and utilization of a moving coil cartridge to give a true balanced signal, incorporated with a phono preamp that has a balanced input perhaps, and you've got yourself the perfect way of managing the signal all the way from the cartridge through the tone arm, through the leads, through the phono preamp and into the connected amplifier. It's utterly perfect. Massively low noise floor, takes advantage of the fact that a moving coil cartridge is a true balanced signal transducer. I mean, it's by its mechanical process is going to move in an electrically balanced way. By being able to reduce that noise floor before it goes to a phono preamp and keep that noise floor low before it goes to your amplifier, it means that the unveiling effect of everything that is on that record means you will love it more. You will listen longer and you will enjoy your leisure time through the music you are playing on this turntable. So, let's have a look. Pro-Ject's packaging. Now, this is one of their bigger boxes, obviously. It's got Pro-Ject logos on both sides. It's got scannable information, that's all just freight stuff. Scannable information associated with the serial number, about the colour option. This is going to be a satin black, cool new option from Pro-Ject. And model number. Also the fact that this is pre-fitted in the factory with a Quintet Red moving coil cartridge. It's got one of the new stickers on it to talk about the connections we're going to see, truly balanced, and an emulation of all of that along with some awards and dial up and get a 1-year extended warranty. Okay, opening these things is pretty straightforward. The box itself is sealed with that traditional sort of paper tape. And opening it's really straightforward. You'll see I sort of lift it up just to ensure that the knife blade isn't going to contact anything beneath. And the first thing you see is that the outer carton is utilised for freight and to add another layer of protection. In fact, you could potentially, if this is covered with the freight labels you see already, discard it once it's in a showroom. Nevertheless, in your home, you'll want to carefully take that off and get rid of it. Then at that point we've got a much cleaner example of the box. Obviously with no freight labels and other things, we've got an emulation of all of the serial number information and on both sides, and the Pro-Ject logo at the end. Repeat for effect, the opening of the packing tape. And we see that they've protected the top of the box with an additional piece of cardboard. Now, looking at it, the first thing we see is an extensive array of accessories. In fact, let's drill into these. It's held closed. We've got a set of little cotton gloves to ensure that fingerprints and things like that aren't left on the product. We see its belt, and that I'm going to put off to one side for now. We see its anti-skate weight, and this one actually has a brass little screw associated with it as well, and again I'll put that off to one side. And then we see a traditional set of interconnects. Now these aren't balanced, they're a traditional RCA. It is worth noting that they've still got the yellow tags on one end, but in this instance they've got an arrow on it. And please, as always, hang around for some close-up photographs where you'll see all of these sort of finer details. Then we've got a couple of things like a tool associated with moving the belt and a 45 adapter. In the bag with the 45 adapter there's also an Allen key, commonly used for adjusting the VTA, the height of the back of the arm, for example, or locking things down. We see some information about the true balanced design and a really cool, oh hang on, open that up. We've got a cartridge alignment tool. We've got some international warranty information and contact details in every language you can think of. And a basic setup guide. Now it's cool. I love to see these kind of simple ways of doing things. If you're not familiar with turntables, it can be a relatively complex process. So Pro-Ject have gone to the effort of ensuring that anyone can really follow this kind of information associated with its setup, its unpacking, all of those types of things. It's all really well thought out. Good on them. Next is the felt mat. Now obviously this goes on the plater. Again, I'll take that and just put it off to one side. And we've got another layer of cardboard before we see the packaging associated with the Perspex lid. Now the lid itself is held in place with some of these expansion foam packaging, 2 pieces of that. And then to ensure that the lid is completely scratch free, it's protected by one of these semi-soft, almost polished cloth bags. Looking at the lid, you can see it's relatively deep and it's got the free preformed mounts for the hinging. Now, as we dive into the box and have a good look, you can see that there's a cardboard cutout, and that is to ensure that any pressure from above is dispersed and to stop some of the things from moving in transit. Have a look. Then it's relatively straightforward to pick the turntable out. However, we've got a lot more to go to have a look at first. So having a look, clearly you can see that there's a few more things buried in the bottom. So I guess the next step is to take some of this packaging out and carefully identify the things that you will need during setup. It's kind of masked by some brown tape. Now typically it's clear packing tape, but in this instance they've opted for brown. And a few nicks gives us access to some of the key things that we're going to need later on. The most obvious is one of these large feet. Now looking at the feet, again hang around for all the photographs, you'll see all these in close up. This is a series of metal and silverthane insulated feet. There are soft velvet pads on both the top and the bottom, enabling it to virtually eliminate all of the vibrations or transient vibrations on the surface that it's going to sit on. And again, we're going to put that off to one side. Carefully looking, we've got 2 more little hidden treasures. We've got a foot. And then finally the 3rd foot, and you can see that the moulding is ready for that as far as frame. Okay. Then we've got centrally the really large heavy platter. Now the platter weighs approximately 2 kilos. It's quite heavy, and that's part of its perfection. Now, okay, so firstly, actually no, I'll pause. I'm going to just continue on unboxing and I'll come back to that platter. So we've got the polished cloth bag associated with that. There's actually a piece of polystyrene centrally to support the main bearing, as well as stop the platter from moving around. Okay, we're almost there. We see the last piece of foam, and I'll just get rid of this box, it's in the road. We see the power supply. And the last of the things we need to look at, so the power supply, universal voltage, so it's 100 to 240 volt, actually I'll open it. It comes with all the little plastic adapters for all the things that you might need. Actually this one brilliantly has the New Zealand and Australian one only. Typically with these you end up with a dozen little plastic adapters you're just going to throw in the bin. So it's good that this has come specifically for the New Zealand market. Very easy to clip it in. It could be removed if you require, but it doesn't really matter. And it is like the rest, 15 volts, again 100 volt input to 240 and 15 volt DC output. Again, put that off to one side. The last thing, and one of the important accessories in this final little slot in the packaging, is the counterweight. And again, hang around for the photographs. Even the counterweight on this product is really well thought out. It's got the markers and the ring and all those things, but it's suspended with sorbethane, and that means that even the microscopic transient vibrations from the arm itself and the fact that you've got this heavy mass, these are now dampened from any of that kind of feedback associated with having the mass on the arm. I mean, it's perfectly critical. It's important to it that it's got a counterweight, but attaching it with sorbethane reduces even those microscopic vibrations that many simply ignore. Right, looking at the deck, and again, actually look, what we're going to do is do some basic assembly as well. I mean, that's all kind of part of what I do here. So understand that there's a lot for it to start looking like a turntable. So very carefully, we're just going to take this final bag off, making sure it doesn't snag on anything. For obvious reasons, there's pre-taps on the bottom for those feet, and you never want to damage the arm or cartridge while taking this bag off. So looking at it, you can see from a functional perspective it's actually very well built, and again that central pulley wheel and completely independently suspended motor. We'll pause and I'll just pre-assemble some of it so that we can continue more easily. The first is to take the 3 feet. Now they screw on really easily, obviously beautifully made and machined. There's 2 at the front and 1 at the back, ensuring that it's relatively stable straight away. But the design does mean that you can level it very easily if you wish, simply by changing the height of the feet that are there. While pausing and looking at the bottom, you can see that it's operated with a selector switch as far as on and off. That is killing the power essentially to everything, and then the speed box takes over as far as the monitoring and control of the power and speed, obviously. You've got the input at the back corner and then the output here. And as I spin it around and hold it up, this is one of the reasons that I'm so enamored with this product. You can see a duplication of outputs. The traditional RCA that you've seen on all of the turntables historically, and of course the ground lead, but this is this new connection. It's Pro-Ject's fully balanced connector, and it enables a very simple method of connecting back to a fully balanced phono preamp. Spinning it around, the next probably thing to do is put its belt on, really, isn't it? Okay, now, like anyone that's buying a... oh, hang on, right, so we've got one of the 78 belts, that's a freebie accessory. There's actually a second pulley for you to take off a traditional belt and put on this round belt should you be wanting to play 78s. It's designed to run with a 45 speed, and you'll see that pretty clearly on the front of the turntable. Now when putting on one of these belts, please, just even if it's just for me, make sure that the Pro-Ject logo is upright and on the outside, and throw it round the central pulley wheel and then around the top pulley of the motor itself. Again, highlighting that the motor is completely independently suspended inside rubber banding. It means the motor can float, and any microscopic vibration from the motor itself is not transferred to the plinth. The bearing is absolutely perfect, and the combination means that it reduces any any sort of motor related tug or movement that could reside during its operation. Next thing, of course, is to take that 2-ish kilo perspex or acrylic platter. Now there's a huge advantage when you add mass. The first thing, of course, is you add inertia. But secondly, when you're milling something, when you're grinding something and machining it down into a circle, through the very central point that is where the spindle will be, it means by design it's going to be balanced. And that's a huge advantage from a operation perspective. Sliding that on and then putting the felt mat, it starts to very quickly start to look like a turntable. Adding the counterweight, and we start to see the design elements that Pro-Ject have wanted us all to share. The anti-skate weight is added. This is pretty straightforward, although if you are shipping the turntable, you will want to remove the anti-skate weight. So that's it there on a tiny little piece of fishing line, and it's a very, very straightforward process as far as setting that on. Now, unfortunately, I've managed to pull the eye through, so it'll take me a moment to fix that. But you'll see that in the photographs. Then there is the anchor point which screws in. It's quite clear as far as where it goes, and again, hang around for the photographs if you need to understand. It's a very, very straightforward process as far as keying that in, and then it's ready for the anti-skate weight to dangle over it. Nevertheless, it will hang directly over there and down. Now, last of all, of course, it's the lid, and that's very, very straightforward, as you've seen with all of my videos as far as clicking it on. So, there we have it. Pro-Ject's brand new X2B balanced turntable. Stunning 9-inch arms, stunning performance, ultra low noise floor. Brand new colour option as far as satin black. It's wonderful to have shared this brilliant new upgraded version of a classic turntable here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.